With a 2-8 record, time is not on the Minnesota Swarm side. However, third place Toronto is struggling at 4-7, and a win today would give the Swarm new life in their quest to begin a second half surge. The Swarm, the Rock. It's next, live on the Lacrosse Network. Good afternoon and welcome inside the Hive as the Minnesota Swarm host the Toronto Rock. Minnesota 2-8, Toronto 4-7. It is a big one for the Eastern Conference playoffs. I'm Joe Moore, joined by Chris Long. And Chris, it's the second meeting between the Rock and the Swarm this season. Certainly the first game up in Toronto provided a whole lot of fireworks for the fans.
Yeah, it didn't go the way the Swarm wanted, losing 14-12. But in terms of excitement, 14 power plays in the game, 10 of them for the Swarm, 100 penalty minutes, and 6 fighting majors. So if there's a little carryover, there may be some EMO on display here as these two teams really went at it in that first meeting.
They certainly did. It'll be interesting to see how Toronto reacts in this one, coming off a loss at home yesterday, having to fly out this morning to Minnesota. So perhaps a travel-weary Toronto showing up here at the Hive, but at 2-8, the Swarm really can't look past anybody at this stage.
No, and especially a game and a half behind Toronto for third place, that last Eastern Conference playoff spot. They also, it's worth noting, play Toronto in the season finale. So you want to gain some momentum, get in their heads now. That way, if a playoff bid does come down to that last day of the NLL season, the Swarm will have momentum on their side.
In that opening game, Chris, you mentioned 100 penalty minutes. I find an interesting stat that Billy Hostrauser, Toronto has the most penalty minutes on the Rock, 36 penalty minutes this season. 34 of them he picked up against the Swarm in that first meeting. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams come out here today.
Yeah, one bad night fills the stat line there. But, of course, Andrew Suter not afraid to get dirty, the leader for penalty minutes in the NLL with 48. So I'm sure he'll be involved at some point tonight.
When these teams met up in Toronto, it was a game of runs, and we'll talk about that throughout the broadcast. The sport of lacrosse is a game of runs, Chris, and a 7-4 game at halftime in Toronto's favor turned into a 13-4 Toronto advantage heading into the fourth quarter before Minnesota really made that one pretty interesting down the stretch.
Well, and here's something to notice about Toronto. They are more prone to big runs against than you would expect to see. They have had 4 times in the last 5 games, Toronto's allowed a run of 7-0 or worse, including that game yesterday. They allowed 8 straight goals to allow Rochester to turn what was a 9-5 deficit. They outscored Toronto 12-3 in the second half. So prone to runs are the Rock. So if the Swarm can string a couple together, that could be the key to victory.
Toronto entering the playing surface right now. Only the way you can here at the Hive. A little mockery being thrown Toronto's way as they enter the field. Rock coming to this one, Chris, looking for their first win away from the Air Canada Centre. 0-5 on the road. Minnesota looking for their first win inside the Hive.
Yeah, something has to give. The Swarm 0-3 at home, but this is their first home game since 3 straight on the road. They've played 7 of 10 on the road already. This is a nice, good stretch to end the season. 6 of the final 8 here at the Hive. If they're going to make a run, now is the time to do it. You look at the record and say 2-8, but the fact that there is that big homestand coming up, that should help.
Definitely should. Folks, we're going to step away as we get the playing of the national anthems. It's the Rock and the Swarm coming up next. We'll have it on the other side of the anthems.
and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the men of faith lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you sing by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of all
Thank you, men of faith. Getting us started with tonight's ceremonial ball drop are the three longest tenured season ticket holders, everybody. Christopher White, Jason Craig, and Tom Chalkrek. Way to go, you guys. Is Christopher, is that you on the far right? Taking the face-off for team captains from the Toronto Rock, Colin Doyle, and for the Swarm number 20, Andrew Suter. All right, thank you, Colin and Andrew Suter. All right, let's send it down to the field for our Toyota player interview. Standing in for Howard the Professor today is the good doctor of swarmology, Brad Skiback. Welcome, Brad. And who do you have down there for your Toyota player interview?
Well, welcome.
Well, welcome, fans. I'm with Assistant Captain Jeff Gilbert. Jeff's a former member of the Toronto Rock. Jeff, what are we going to see today in this game? What can we expect to see happening?
It's a really big game for us, and you guys get loud, we'll make you proud.
You're hearing from Jeff. Give them all you can for the Hive. They'll play hard for us. Let's go, Swarm. Back to you up top.
You heard him.
And welcome inside the Hive, lacrosse fans. Joe Moore along with Chris Long as we prepare for the opening ball drop between the Minnesota Swarm and the Toronto Rock. Second meeting of the season between the two squads. Toronto defeating Minnesota 14-12 the first time around, avenging last year's playoff upset. Minnesota, a 2011 winner in the quarterfinals last season. And a violation will give the opening possession to Minnesota. The assistant captain, Callum Crawford, looking for options, lays it off for Schuss. Schuss pulls back. Monetize sends it along. Again, it's Crawford. He takes the shot and bounces it just wide of starting goaltender Nick Rose for Toronto. His counterpart for the Swarm this evening is Zach Higgins. Chris, Higgins got a little bit of time against Toronto in that first meeting. The Swarm using both goaltenders, going with Higgins here today.
Yeah, Higgins coming in. He's 2-4 on the season. Those two important, the two victories the Swarm have pulled out this year. So it makes sense to go with him, especially with the win and the wins he has and his familiarity against the Rock.
Andrew Suter claims the loose ball for Minnesota. Spins away from Stefan LeBlanc. And he'll bounce it ahead to Big Brock Sorensen. Now Shane Jackson. Jackson with 3 goals at home this season. They all came in the same quarter, a natural hat trick against Edmonton. Schuss tries a swim move. Not biting on that with Sandy Chapman. A shot bounces near. Off the post. Oh, a big hit, and Chapman going to retaliate.
And here we go.
100 penalty minutes the first time these two teams played, and a minute and a half in, we're going to get after it, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams, there's clearly not a lot of love lost. 6 fighting majors last time. Well, this one might not be over yet here.
When all is said and done, there are no penalties issued. It'll be Swarm ball.
Keep an eye on Hostelser and Monetize. That was a little more than just pleasantries being exchanged there.
On the run, backing in Crawford. Jump shot. Rose gets out on top of that and corrals the rebound.
A lot of commotion so far for the Swarm. Doing a good job getting there. A couple posts, one good look, but haven't converted yet. But a couple good opportunities from some nice commotion in front of Rock goalkeeper Nick Rose.
We gave you the starting goaltenders. We should mention the crew in charge of this one. They've got their hands full. Todd LeBranch is the crew chief. Keith Gagney on the playing surface as well. Darren Yates, your shot clock operator. Toronto shot clock running out, running across, and getting the shot off was Colin Doyle. Higgins another save now behind everybody's Gilbert. Gilbert to the front and got pushed off the ball. Good transition defense from Toronto.
Gilbert was kind of waiting for that contact. I think if he'd gone right to the net, he might have had a clean shot, but he was anticipating the contact.
Damon Edwards sub shot scores. And Toronto will claim an early lead.
Good look for Edwards in front there. Stopped his forward momentum. The defense kept backing up. Found himself with a good opportunity to get a low shot through. Maybe a little bit of a screen. Yeah, it looks like it was low enough that Higgins wasn't able to get a clean look at it. Beat him low left side. 5th
goal of the season for Edwards. Comes just 2:38 into the game, giving Toronto an early lead. And that was one of the things I was interested in, is with another face-off violation. We'll give the ball to Minnesota. Is how Toronto would respond today, losing at home yesterday, the 2 weekend games, the back end here for Toronto.
Especially the way they lost, giving up 8 consecutive goals around halftime. They were up 9-5 comfortably at halftime and ended up losing 17-12. So a tiring game both mentally and physically for the Rock just yesterday.
Crawford trying to get to the front of the top of the crease is pulled down, and we will get a Toronto penalty, sending Minnesota on the game's first power play.
First quarter is going to be important. Toronto, a very strong first quarter team. They have a +8 differential in the first quarter this year. That's one of the best teams in the league. On the other hand, the Swarm, -14 in the first quarter. That's near the bottom. So you like for the Swarm to kind of reverse that trend, keep it close to the end of the first quarter, because the Rock, they are notorious fast starters, and then they do even out as the quarters go through. But that goal differential of +8 in the first quarter, very strong for them.
Minnesota 3 for 10 on the power play against Toronto in the first meeting, but it is a power play unit that has shown improvement as the season has gone on. Schuss unable to grab that loose ball, and Toronto will be able to kill a little bit of time, and on the run comes Edwards. Edwards right to the front, and Higgins moving to the left, comes up with a huge save.
That's a good save for Higgins off a bad turnover on that first rush in the power play. Regrouping, trying again.
Josh Gillum brings it across the timeline. He'll bounce it up top as Logan Schuss will quarterback the power play for Minnesota. Schuss, the reigning Rookie of the Month in the NLL, grabbing the February honors.
Rightfully as the leading first-year goal scorer in the NLL with 18, also leads the Swarm.
Gillum a quick stick shot, but Rose moves to the left and corrals the rebound off the back wall. Jesse Gamble will run it across the timeline. Feeds out front, and again, Higgins has to make a big stop, a shorthanded chance for Toronto, that time coming from Rob Marshall.
Yeah, so far so good for Higgins on this power play for the Swarm. He shouldn't have to be making saves like that, but it could be 3-0 on 2 shorthanded goals.
Now Crawford to quarterback the power play. McIntosh quickly across for Jackson. The cutter, McIntosh fakes, and he hits the post.
Boy, another great look. It was a good recovery on that rush as Schuss got knocked down as that play started. I thought it was going to be blown up, but they stayed with it. Got McIntosh a good look on the pipe. Just shot it right through the crease.
Now here in the early going, it would be readily apparent Minnesota's game plan, Chris, get to the top of the crease as often as possible.
Yeah, high pace, good tempo so far. That, just, like I said, hasn't paid off, but they're getting looks. They've had the possession. You feel one might be coming.
A shot that actually came after the buzzer. The shot clock violation will lead us to our first break. We'll take it to break here on 45 TV. Rock 1, Swarm nothing. We'll be back with more action after these messages. Fans, get some new team gear for the season by visiting the NLL shop online. Go to shop.nll.com for the best prices and selection on clothing and accessories for all 9 teams. With flat rate shipping and no hassle returns, the NLL shop is your place for all things NLL. Visit shop.nll.com today. Powered by Fanatics.
For today's Home Service Plus Player Poll, brought to you by Centerpoint Energy. Lisa's going to have a chance to take home a $25 Swarm Shop gift card if she can get some answers correct. We polled the players on the team about their teammates, and here's what they had to say. We asked forward Scott Jones, who is the most likely to lose something on the team. Did he say A, Logan Schuss, B, David Earl, C, Brock Sorensen, or D, Kyle Matisse? Lisa, who is the most likely to lose something?
I'm going to go with C.
C, Brock Sorensen. Let's see if that's correct.
The player on the team most likely to lose something is C, Brock Sorensen.
Oh, Lisa, 1 for 2 right now. Our second question.
Get it?
We asked Alex Krepinsak, who's got the best flow, that means air, on the team. Did he say A, Greg Downing, B, Tyler Carlson, C, Shane Jackson, or D, Jordan Hotby? What do you think?
A looks like he has the nicest hair.
A does look like he has nice hair. Is it A, Greg Downing?
The player on the team with the best flow is A, Greg Downing.
All right, Lisa. 2 for 2. She's taking home a $25 Swarm Shop gift card. If you would like to sit in the HSP Turfside seats, just head to mnswarm.com/HSP to enter to win. You can literally see every hair on their face.
Back inside the Hive, the Swarm just with 3 seconds left on the power play. Toronto successfully kills off the game's first penalty as Matisse sends it across. Jackson unable to pull that pass in. And Rose sweeps the ball into the crease for Toronto.
And Zach Higgins, the most valuable player for the Storm on that power play. Unfortunately, making 2 saves and then getting a pipe. Garrett Billings isn't going to hit many posts with an open look, but he did on that last rush. So the Swarm survived their own power play, not allowing a goal, but didn't get one for themselves either.
Spin move, LeBlanc forced back, or Doyle rather. McIntosh picks it up, knocks the ball free. Krepensek chases. And Krepensek comes up with the loose ball. Good help defense from McIntosh as Downing brings it across the timeline. Josh Gillum. Gillum to the crease, takes it behind. Reverses course. Stays out of that crease area. Schuss up top. Matisse sends it across. Crawford couldn't handle it. And the loose ball will be picked up by Patrick Merrill.
Gillum should have some confidence after his first career hat trick last week in the Swarm loss at Buffalo. The loss, bad news, but the good news, Gillum getting 3 goals in.
Billings sends it across. Shot taken, and finding the back of the net is Stephen LeBlanc.
And Matisse didn't look real happy. I don't know if he was disappointed in himself or was expecting somebody to slide over on D, but as soon as the shot went through and scored, Matisse kind of had that shoulder drop going, oh man, what happened there? Yeah, you see it there in the top left of the screen. I don't know if he was looking for help or if he didn't think the shot was coming, but he wasn't thrilled about what happened there.
And actually it was Josh Sanderson. Sanderson picking up his 14th of the year in the Rock. Jump out to a 2-0 lead, and Merrill will pick up the loose ball.
And I mentioned it, this is dangerous for the Swarm. The Rock are a very fast starting team. You'd like to see the Swarm stop the bleeding right now.
Chapman sends it across. He'll run off to get more offense onto the turf. Billings lines it up and he scores. Oh, Billings, a rocket from way out. Skips past Higgins. Suddenly 3-0 Toronto just 7 minutes into this game.
Billings with some pretty strong evidence right there why he leads the NLL in scoring by a clear 7 points, now 8 points with that goal. 23 goals, 53 assists, 76 points, and just such a dangerous player. And that was just pure speed on that shot.
And once again against Toronto, Minnesota going to change things up in goal. Tyler Carlson will come on after Higgins gives up 3 goals on 6 shots.
That's a tough swap. I mean, Higgins made a couple tough saves on that power play. That one was maybe a little soft. The other 2, I don't know if he had a real clean look at it, but that's a quick hook, but we'll see if it works.
Another face-off win. That should be an area today that Minnesota has a rather decided advantage.
And Joe, as a former goalie, I'm not a fan of the quick hook.
Yeah.
I saw too many of them.
Crawford, Jackson. I got a few questions for you about that as we go on, Chris. Now Gillum. Gillum fires, but Rose stepping out cuts off the angle and has it trapped.
I'm okay with that. That's a good shot. They were getting into the crease and weren't getting anything through, so go ahead, put a few balls in from the outside and see what happens.
Toronto across the timeline leading 3-0. This is Hellier. Cut off by Sorensen. Pass goes awry and will bounce into the Swarm bench, giving the ball to Minnesota. No, they're going to keep it with Toronto. Boy, I didn't see that one deflect as Carlson tested, makes an early first save.
Sorry, Joe.
Hellier got his own rebound, sends it back. Pass, actually, dunk shot. Goes wide as LeBlanc tried from the back.
Was that a pass or was that just a very fortuitous missed shot that happened to have a teammate waiting behind it?
Noble brings it in to the offensive zone. Leaves it off for Jackson. Noble staying out there for an offensive shift, the rookie. Known more for his defense. Now Schuss gives it Noble. Toward the front, runs into a double team, tries to fight through the triple team. Ball comes loose and is picked up by Hostrauser.
Well, and that's where that shot from the outside worked out because Toronto's now doing a pretty good job of keeping the Swarm from getting anything generated in front as well as they were early in the period.
And 3-on-3 on the offensive side. Everybody else back in the Toronto zone, slow and getting up from the hog pile. Some pushing and shoving. Nothing came of it. Now 5-on-5 with 10 on the shot clock. Hellier over the top, and again, Carlson coming out makes the save.
Confident save for a guy that didn't start, just came in, makes a nice save. You want to get those first couple out of the way when you're coming in off the bench cold.
You know, and we get a whistle, and moving screen on Minnesota gives the ball to Toronto. Billings behind the back and unable to come up with it was Colin Doyle.
Well, and that's a product of having a 3-0 early lead. I don't think he makes that pass if they weren't doing everything right to this point.
Now Brock Sorensen. His pass is tipped. Reaching out to kind of poke that away was Chris White. White and Crawford really banging on each other. Then over the top, Tyler Haas levels the Toronto player.
Well, that was a
White
big hit. Yeah, that was a big hit by Haas, and I can't see the player that's down, but he was tangled up with Crawford and had no idea Haas was coming. So
Haas and Chris White going to go after it.
An expected result after that.
White has given up a lot of reach on that one. Tyler Haas at 6'6" got the better of that one, much to the delight of the folks here in the Hive.
Yeah, it's Haas by unanimous decision on that one.
Well, that is round one.
Of what I'm sure will be several, if not many. There's a little frustration there. Crawford was doing a nice job there, grinding and grinding, trying to pick up that loose ball. Haas did come in a little aggressively. I understand where White would want to come to his teammate's defense.
And Jesse Gamble is the player that got leveled by Haas, and he's still being attended to right in front of the Toronto bench as the referees will talk things over and stick, gloves, helmets all being dropped off in the penalty box for our combatants.
Question here, is Haas going to pick up an extra penalty or not? I'm okay with that. I mean, it's an energy play. It wasn't a dirty hit. It was just a little farther to the back than you'd like to see, but you're down 3-0 early. Try to change things up a little bit with a big hit there. Best case, you're going to help Crawford pick up that loose ball. Worst case, you pick up an extra penalty.
And Cameron Flint, the Minnesota in-home, is also in the box, so Minnesota does pick up the extra minor, giving Toronto a power play. Fans, the best way to experience the Swarm is as a season ticket holder right now. When you buy 2 Swarm season tickets, you get 2 more at 25% off. That works out to as little as $17 per game. It's not too late to join the Hive. Visit us online at mnswarm.com for more information.
Swarm just had to hang on here.
Quick pass in the middle. Doyle couldn't finish. It's picked up by Sanderson over the top and flashing the right arm out. Carlson, another nice save. Now Billings rips one and another right arm save from Carlson. Big hit by Sorensen. Can't jar the ball loose. LeBlanc leaves it off for Doyle. Delayed call upcoming on Minnesota.
Are they going to call that for a slash?
Sanderson up top. Doyle near side. Hellier. Shot saved by Carlson. He'll control it. We'll get the Minnesota penalty. It'll be 5-on-3 Toronto.
I was a little aggressive on the swing, but I didn't think they'd call it, especially since the Swarm were already a man down. You kind of sometimes see a little more leniency, but not in this case. It was a little bit of aggressive of a hack, but, it's contact sport.
When we come back, it'll be a 5-on-3 advantage. Toronto, the Rock lead at 3-0. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV.
This season, getting a free...
Card to the NLL.com store.
Back inside the Hive, Joe Moore along with Chris Long. Toronto leading 3-0, going on a 5-on-3 advantage. It is time for Minnesota to make a stand because they're letting this one slip away early, Chris.
If there's optimism, I've been talking about how good the Rock are in the first quarter, and they are. They're one of the best first quarter teams in the NLL. They are prone to runs. I mentioned it earlier. They have given up in 4 of their last 5 games opponent runs of 7-0 or worse. So, if you're a Swarm fan, don't panic. This is a team that you can fall behind and still make things up very quickly. But then again, you just assume not.
Right on the crease they go from post to post, and the quick stick finds the back of the net. It's 4-0 Toronto. This goal comes from Casey Behrens.
It's a pretty good pass coming from, I believe it was Colin Doyle there on the assist. And 5-on-3, there's just nothing you can do there. If a guy's going to make a terrific pass like this, that Doyle in the post, yeah, that's 5-on-3. What are you going to do there?
Not much. And Carlson unable to get to the near post. 18th of the season for Behrens makes it 4-0 Toronto. Still a 5-on-4 advantage for the Rock.
You just break it up into smaller goals. You start seeing this hole get bigger for the Swarm. The goal right now, just get out of this shorthanded situation with no more goals allowed.
Sanderson will quarterback the power play. Billings to Sanderson, back for Garrett Billings. Billings' goal here in this quarter is first against Minnesota. He had 9 assists in the first game as Carlson comes up on a nice save on LeBlanc.
That's great presence, knowing that ball it hit him in the midsection. It was about to drop and squeak through his legs, so he closed up his legs quickly. That's terrific presence of mind to know where that ball exactly was in relation to his body.
Now a shorthanded break. Crawford elects to pull it back out. Kill some time, didn't have the clean path to the goal that he was hoping for. Gillum will slow things down on the near side.
Smart play by Crawford. No need to be over-aggressive there. Just limit the damage, like I said. Number one goal right now, let this power play expire.
And that ball into the netting will go to Toronto, still with 51 seconds left on their power play. Billings trots it across the timeline. And the Rock will get everything set up here on the power play. Billings up top. Gets it across. Doyle over the top. He scores. And second power play goal for Toronto. They take full advantage of the opportunity. 5-0 Rock.
You see why these guys' statistics are so good this year for Toronto. They pass so well and so quickly, cycling the ball around. Just patience, patience, patience.
And talk about threading the needle on the shot. Boy, oh boy, you can't place that in the upper corner any better if you're standing there.
Well, the good news is the power play's over.
Right on the crease, and that time Downing is robbed by Rose. Shots are 14-5 in favor of Toronto, helped along by all the power play time they had here recently. On the run, LeBlanc goes toward the net, now feathers it off for Doyle. Out front, Billings rips one wide, loose ball in the slot, picked up by David Earl. Earl with numbers now. The Notre Dame product fires, Rose makes the save.
On that one, maybe you pull out a little bit. You had numbers. It was at least a 2-on-1. You had the cavalry coming behind you. Maybe a little more patience there on Earl's part.
Scott Johnston comes away with the loose ball right down the slot. Bounce shot. Got tipped into the corner. Gilbert mucking things up. It's kicked away from him. David Earl there to try to help out. And finally, it's David Earl sending it back, and Jeff Gilbert will control for Minnesota. A lot of action along the boards here in the first quarter, Chris.
Yeah, physicality. We knew it was coming between these two teams, and the catch is the Rock just aren't backing down. The Storm are doing a nice job of making them uncomfortable with the ball. The catch is they're just passing so well on the offensive end. They're up 5-0.
Crawford for Jackson. Jackson loads, fires Rose, another save. Big rebound. Crawford was tied up there with Sandy Chapman. Crawford wins it. Tried to play it behind the net, but getting a stick on that to disrupt it was Patrick Merrill.
Nice dodge by Jones to maintain possession there and create that shot.
The rookie Ethan O'Connor brought it across the timeline. One of the most noticeable differences between these two teams is the experience. Ethan O'Connor, one of just 2 rookies for Toronto. Minnesota with 5 rookies on the 20-man squad right now. Greg Downing. Sidearms one wide. Rose with the outlet pass ahead for Billings. Conversely, Chris, 7 players on Toronto with more than 10 years of experience.
Yeah, there are a lot of names that casual NLL fans will recognize on this one. I've been to a few games, and I know some of the names here. The Colin Doyle, seen him. And
Josh Sanderson is up there. Both of those guys in their 17th NLL season. About a 7-second difference between shot clock and game clock here for Minnesota as Gillum tries to go to work, can't use the screen. Monetize stopped by Rose, out ahead of everybody. Edwards couldn't come up with the ball. Minnesota does. 5 seconds left. Schuss got the shot away at the horn. Rose makes the save. And that will bring us to the end of quarter number 1. It is all Toronto. The Rock lead the Swarm 5-0 as you watch Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV.
Hey, Swarm fans, Lindsay here.
Toronto dominates quarter 1 as they have the 5-0 lead. Joe Moore along with Chris Long. And Chris, you mentioned it, Toronto starts fast. This is the 8th time now in 12 games they have held the lead after the first quarter.
Yeah, good news, first quarter's over. Bad news, 5 different goal scorers for Toronto, so it's not like it's just one guy doing the damage. Minnesota,
conversely, in their 11th game now, have only led after the first quarter 1 time this season. So certainly it is not unfamiliar territory for Minnesota. Shot skips wide. It comes over the timeline. It'll be an over and back call on Toronto. McIntosh trying to pick up that loose ball. Going to have to bring it out to the side.
Joe, I need a rally here, too. This is my daughter's first lacrosse game. She's just short of being 3 months old. She's here today with my wife. I need a rally here.
Well, unfortunately,
trying to start her early and being a Swarm fan.
Unfortunately, they're keeping it quiet inside the Hive for your daughter right now. Minnesota misfires there, and bringing it over the timeline will be Chris White. LeBlanc a shot, Carlson the save. Carlson in relief. He has given up 2 goals, both on the power play for Toronto in the first quarter.
Maybe the Swarm try to rally around Carlson a little, get him his first win of the season.
Crawford backs it out, looking for some space, looking for some options. His offense a little stagnant right now. Crawford across the crease. Gillum couldn't pull the trigger on a shot. Behind the back, gave it right to Johnston, but he stepped in the crease anyway. Crease violation, gives the ball to Toronto.
Crawford is such a smart player, just the patience to wait for something to develop there. He's fun to watch every time out here.
On the near side, Josh Sanderson. Picked up defensively by Krepensek as Doyle brings it out up top. Doyle around Krepensek. Ball comes bouncing through the crease. Carlson unable to corral it, but Greg Downing does. And the captain runs it ahead. Andrew Suter fires and skips it just wide. Long rebound. Crawford able to get a stick on it and throw it to safety as he was undercut.
Yeah, just another example of his intelligence as a lacrosse player. He knew he was going to be in trouble. That was Jones. Excuse me. I thought that was Crawford again.
As did I. 89-98. Easy mistake.
And,
right?
we're high up here at the Hive.
So Jones with it. Sends it across. Jackson will track it down. Shot clock violation on Minnesota.
Just off by an inch. Jackson's going to handle that pass. He fires a long shot at the shot clock buzzer. But it rolls off and they take the horn.
Shots are 16-9 in favor of Toronto. Loose ball pressuring is David Earl. Earl going to run away all by himself. David Earl on the break. Now leaves it off for McIntosh. He fires and Rose makes the save. And unable to come up with the loose ball out front was Earl as Toronto starts the other way.
Well, the Rock got cute with the ball there, and Earl almost made them pay. It was a decent play to drop to the trailer, but the Rock getting a little cute with the ball here. They have a lot of confidence right now at 5-0.
Flip behind the back on the run, coming right in. Carlson, another very nice save, and then we get the crease violation call on Behrens.
Well, other than the 2 power play goals allowed on the 5-on-3 and 5-on-4, Carlson's been strong since he's come in on relief of Higgins.
Fans, visit swarmrewards.com to start earning points and prizes for just being social. Link your Facebook and Twitter accounts today to start earning rewards at swarmrewards.com. The cutter couldn't come up with the pass, and then Jackson takes a hit to boot. Gillum comes up with the loose ball. Shot clock running out once again. Crawford a quick stick. Couldn't get it on goal, so it will be Toronto ball.
Toronto is just so quick, both offensively and help defensively. They are so quick.
Turned over, and now Cam Flint. Flint being chased from behind. Gets the shot off, and Rose is there to clean up the mistake. Downing with the loose ball. Runs away from the slash of Bill Greer.
Good play. Slow it down. Set something up. Maximize the opportunity here.
Logan Schuss finds Jones. Scott Jones, the rookie, drives right in. Tries to go over the shoulder of Rose, who makes the save, standing tall.
Rock not showing Jones a lot of respect there. They left him all by himself. He had no choice but to go right to the net. Pretty good play. Just couldn't cash in.
And Rose only 6 feet tall, but 285. He is a big boy.
He plays big. He's built like a goalie. He doesn't even need pads.
On the far side, Hellier frees up some space. His shot deflected. Carlson the save, but a big rebound will be collected by LeBlanc. He goes across. Billings behind the back. Haas intercepts that pass. Ahead for Suter. 2-on-2. Suter spins. The trailer, McIntosh loads, fires. Rose the save. McIntosh's own rebound going to slow things down.
The Swarm have tried everything. Drops, quick shots, crease shots. You have to just keep shooting. The only way to break through is to keep shooting. And you can sense a little bit of frustration here.
Schuss brings it up top, near side. Crawford just pushes off Crawford right and shoots. He scores, and they wave it off. Crease violation on Callum Crawford.
Oh, and I was just about to say, that's one way to do it. Just get the defense right off of you by running them over.
And the challenge flag flies to the midfield area from Joe Sullivan. A little frustration from the coach with that throw as well.
I couldn't tell on that last replay if he was in or not. Man, that's a good play. If the defense is playing you tight, knock them over and go on through.
So Todd LeBranch will come to the video screen in the booth and take a look at this. The call on the field again, no goal as we get to the first replay. Don't know if we'll be able to see it on this. Crawford looks like he steps on the line there, Chris.
Right foot went in, eyes on the goal, not on the ground where they should be. Focused on the goal, but yeah, the overhead will always expose you, and yeah, he was in the crease.
So a good call. Should be a quick review here from Todd LeBranch. Fans, check out www.theswarmshop.com for the latest Swarm gear. T-shirts, hoodies, jerseys, kids and women's lines. Theswarmshop.com has everything you're looking for.
And that's almost worst case scenario. Okay, we're on the board. We have a goal. It's 5-1. Here we go. Nope, waved off. So not only wind out of your sails, but takes away the momentum you might have had from the goal that you thought you scored.
Fans will take it to break. The score 5-0 Toronto. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV.
I have to stand for a little while. I sat so much at the state basketball tournament. I can't sit any longer.
Barron sends it across. Winding up LeBlanc.
Oh, way wide.
Badly misfired there. Loose ball, however, picked up by Behrens. Up top for Doyle. Doyle loading, now spins. Good defense there from Haas. Good feed, LeBlanc, and Suter pushed him off. Shot clock violation gives the ball to Minnesota.
Nice one-on-one defense by Krepensek. Didn't allow the shot, but also kept the Rock offensive player from getting a real clean pass off there, knowing it was late in the shot clock.
Kyle Matisse getting some offensive time. He's scored in 5 straight games for Minnesota. He's the big guy they'd really like to get going on the right side. Feed behind the back. It's Logan Schuss putting Minnesota on the board. Oh, a beauty from Schuss.
You're only going to have one at this point. You might as well make it a gorgeous one. What a great behind the back while falling to the ground goal for Schuss, showing why he is one of the best first-year players in the NLL. His 19th goal of the season, Joe, I would imagine, is one of the prettiest.
It definitely is. And finally, something for the fans here inside the Hive to cheer about. No challenge needed either way on that one.
Well, that's just a terrific goal. He didn't have anything to the forehand. He knew it, so he went, let's try the old wrap around the back, and it works. Oh, that's a highlight reel goal for Schuss.
Colin Doyle on the run, gets right out front, and he scores. A quick answer from Toronto. The wily old veteran knows what to do when he's all alone. 6-1 Toronto.
Just every time the Storm gets something going, something happens the other way. A goal wave off, or you get your first goal, and the Rock come down on their first possession afterward. A little bit of a defensive breakdown to let him sneak through there and find that top corner on Carlson.
Second of the game for Doyle. And on the season now 23. He is third on the Rock in that category in his 17th season.
He's closing in on Billings for second as well.
And actually in the game against Minnesota, the first time they played up in Toronto, Colin Doyle became only the fourth NLL player to reach the 500-goal career mark.
Yeah, leads the league in game-winning goals this year too, so oldie and a goodie.
No doubt about it. Two of the three that got there before he did will make appearances here in the Hive later this season. John Grant Jr. and John Tavares.
Yeah, Tavares, I feel like he's been here since this league began. He's been playing so long.
Shot clock violation.
He's a high school teacher, right, Tavares? Did I read that somewhere? He's also a high school teacher?
I will trust you on that one.
It might be old information, but at least he was at one time if he's not still.
Jackson, the sub shot, nice save from Rose. Toronto with numbers back the other way, but Minnesota gets back nicely in transition. They free up. Oh, a great save there as Bill Greer was left alone on the wing.
Boy, has a good slide to disrupt that too. I think it was Crawford stepped over, put a shoulder in, and blew the play up. Still a pretty good point-blank shot, so Crawford and Carlson both. Nice plays there, stopping that rush.
McIntosh pass behind Jackson, who comes down with the loose ball. Jackson drives right out front, tries a squib shot. Suter picks up the loose ball and scores.
And that's an experienced goal. Suter knowing exactly where to be and not dinking around with a ball sitting there with an empty net. Pick it up, shoot it, score.
The captain makes it 6-2 in favor of Toronto as he picks up his 8th of the year.
Yeah, when the ball lies at your feet like that, you've got that much of a gift.
And Rose just really didn't know where that ball ended up after he made the initial save. He was looking to his left. It had come rolling out to his right. And by the time he found it, it was behind him again.
Pounce on that loose ball.
Nice little give and go. Jones tried to go underneath, but Rose stood his ground.
That's a great save by Rose. Just standing his ground, waiting, not buying the initial fake.
Yeah, that would have been huge for Minnesota. You know, we mentioned it several times already, but lacrosse being a game of runs and those face-offs become important in continuing the run or stopping the run in Minnesota with the advantage. Jordan Crawford on the dot in this one. Doyle, spin move.
Especially against this Toronto team that does give up the runs. Not just a game of runs, but against a team that's susceptible to them.
Gilbert breaking away. Gilbert all alone. Gilbert scores! Jeff Gilbert makes it 6-3 as Minnesota gets some momentum going their way.
Well, the Rock looked like they may have been trying to get a change there. The defensemen had no room to go, and it was almost they saw the breakaway happening and went, well, we're not going to get back there in time to stop it. So good pressure defensively, wearing out the Rock a little bit to create an opportunity offensively.
Gilbert finds some room just inside the near post, and
Rose
here's a veteran team move.
Yeah. Yep, you guys scored 2 quick goals. I've got a strap broken on my helmet. I'm not accusing him of it. I'm just saying if that is the case, it's a great move by Rose. Get a little water.
And by the way, I don't have a water bottle here.
Fixed.
6-3 Minnesota. They've scored the last 2, 3 of the last 4. For Jeff Gilbert, his second goal of the season. Scored last week in Buffalo, adding to the streak here against Toronto.
That's a big goal. You look at the Swarm bench right now, they're all up. Everybody's on their feet. The crowd's into it. There's a little more hop. It's a couple big goals there.
Face-off win. Now sent ahead and just unable to come up with that one was O'Connor. Otherwise, he would have been in all alone. Shots beginning to even up, 2019 in favor of Toronto. 6-3 where it counts in favor of the Rock as David Earl will give it up. On the near side, Crawford going to work. Sends it across. Through the middle came Jackson, gives it to Crawford. Crawford gets the pick. Tried to work the give and go with Monetize. That failed to connect. It'll be Toronto ball. And with the change in possession, we get a break on the field. We'll take the break as well. Toronto 6, Minnesota 3. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV. Fans, NLL Radio offers the best online radio coverage of the National Lacrosse League. Listen on your smartphone. Just download the popular TuneIn radio app and find NLL Radio. Hear the latest episode of every show anytime on your phone, including our very own Stealth Confidential. For more information, visit nll.com/radio. Also would like to welcome all the Toronto Rock fans watching us live on the Lacrosse Network. The next Rock home game is on Saturday, March 30th, as they will host the undefeated Edmonton Rush at 3 p.m. For tickets, visit torontorock.com. Back inside the Hive, Toronto in possession, leading 6-3. Colin Doyle, chased by Suter, drops it off LeBlanc up top. Hellier well over the top and into the netting.
Suter nice and aggressive up top defensively.
Gilbert gets it ahead quickly. Jones to the side of the net. Oh. Rose takes one away. Josh Gillum was there. It'll be Minnesota ball after it rebounds out of play.
Rose did a good job taking away that top corner. I think it might have caught the crossbar, but good adjustment by Rose was effectively a 2-on-0 there at the end of the play.
Jones sends it across. Behind the net, Monetize. Monetize looking, loads, fires, scores! He found it inside the short side. It's 6-4 Toronto.
And Rose had one of those, wait a minute, that went in gestures. Just kind of leaned that right shoulder in, thinking he had the pipe covered. In his mind, well, if it didn't hit me, it certainly didn't hit the goal. And then he hears the crowd roaring. What? How'd that get in there?
Kyle Monetize picks up the goal. Swarm with 4 different goal scores. It is the 14th of the year for Monetize as he ties for third high on the team in that category.
And that 5-0 deficit in the rearview mirror, it appears, for the Swarm now.
Shots are now even, 21 aside. LeBlanc in the slot, fires. Carlson the save. The rebound rolls out for David Earl. Earl looking around to see what the numbers are. It's 4-on-3. Earl sends it across. Flint rips one. Rose the save. Big rebound fought for and comes bouncing very fortuitously to the Swarm. Jordan McIntosh giving directions. Tried to pick up a screen for Monetize. That failed.
Yeah, just look how much more energy the Swarm are playing with now with this. It's just so, you get that 0 off the board and anything feels possible.
Oh, Monetize picked up the bounce. Rose a big save. Rose kind of slow and getting back up. Put the big paddle down and grab that one in as outlet pass ahead. Look out. Ostrauser avoids Gilbert, who was trying to line him up.
Yeah, that could have ruined Ostrauser's weekend right there if that ball hadn't settled down when it did.
Gilbert really giving it to Ostrauser. Finally, Doyle comes over to set a pick, but then Sorensen is there on Ostrauser. Into the boards he goes. Big hit by Sorensen.
Yeah, Ostrauser just, all right, enough. I'm done. Sub.
Haas spins, avoids another, backhands one on goal, and Rose makes the save, looking for the quick outlet.
Haas he just tied himself in a knot, making some great moves to get free, and just didn't have enough balance left to stay there and get a clean shot off.
Off the bench, a shot from Behrens. Didn't make it through. Suter goes low to pick up the loose ball. LeBlanc went over the top of him.
And LeBlanc's going to think twice when he's down there with the ball in his pocket next time. Oh, he had a cutter. Oh.
Crawford electing to let the offense set up. Sends it across for Gillum into the corner for Jackson. Or Schuss, rather. Coming the other way. Oh, and Crawford bangs it off the crossbar. Gillum tracks down the loose ball. Another possession for Minnesota.
A lot more active now, the Swarm offensively. Instead of just trying one pass and a shot, a lot more active with the cuts, a lot more active cycling around.
Scott Jones getting a lot of offensive time. Crawford toward the net, but has the ball go out of the basket. Toronto back the other way. And an injured Rock player back in their crease area.
I think Crawford may have caught him awkwardly. After Crawford lost the ball, thought he still had it, attempting the shot, sort of fell forward and may have caught, and I'm trying to look on the screen to see who that is, may have caught him awkwardly up high somewhere, collarbone, somewhere in the neck. Certainly not an intentional play by Crawford. He just was off balance after he lost the ball.
Fans of Swarm are right back here in the High for 5 of the next 6 weekends, starting next Sunday at 1 p.m. when they take on the Buffalo Bandits. Get in on the experience of a playoff chase. Get your tickets today at mnswarm.com. Buffalo and Rochester atop this East Division. Kind of a stranglehold on those first 2 playoff spots. It's a 3-team race for the third one here in the East, and right now Toronto laying claim to it. A Swarm victory here today would pull them to within a half game of that playoff spot.
Yeah, it'd be a big win. Sandy Chapman getting up. He looks like he's okay. That would have been a tough injury for the Rock there, one of their best players there. Alternate captain. He looks like he's okay. He'll probably be back in.
Chapman's a good one, too. He was Defensive Player of the Year in 2010. Rock ball, less than a minute and a half left in the half. Suter is down and slow getting up and kind of hobbled. Didn't see what happened there. Toronto will maintain possession with a fresh 30. Then a shot, they score from way out.
Well, that was just a disjointed play altogether. Suter went down. I don't know if he kind of rolled his ankle or the turf monster got him, but he goes down. It sort of disrupted things. It looked like they sort of recovered from it, but then all of a sudden the Rock come back in and fire the shot.
Garrett Billings picks up his second of the game, 25th of the year. McIntosh pulls the faceoff back, and Minnesota will gain possession, trailing 7-4. McIntosh. Up top, Crawford loading. He shoots right into the midsection of Rose, and the quick outlet ahead for Gamble.
Gutsy move by Rose to go for that. That ball wasn't in the crease, and he just got to it in time. It would have been fair play to go and get him.
Gamble forced well back. Sanderson a shot. Carlson the save, leaves the rebound. Behrens pulled it back. I thought he was getting the shot off. We get a whistle.
And
I'm a little lost. I don't know if there was a timeout taken.
Yes.
So there was a timeout. I believe that they were pointing toward Minnesota, Chris, which would be surprising to me, seeing as Toronto seemed to have the ball there.
Well, Haas did a nice job there. It looked like there was going to be that loose ball opportunity in front. He recognized what was going on. Instead of going for the ball, isolated the man to prevent the goal-scoring opportunity, because if he'd made it a race to the ball and lost, it would have been a 1-on-0 right there on the post. And that's a tough task for Carlson to deal with. So nice play by Haas to go for the man instead of the ball in that situation.
35.1 seconds left to play in the opening half. 7-4 in favor of Toronto. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Minnesota has won this quarter 4-2, but still a long road to hoe.
And I keep mentioning it, Toronto gives up runs. 4 of their last 5 games, runs of 7-0 or more. So you just stay in contact. Don't let them get too far in front. 7-4. Definitely a surmountable lead.
One of their bugaboos has been the third quarter. You couldn't prove that by the Swarm. They outscored Minnesota 6-0 in Toronto in the third quarter, but they have been lit up in the third quarters this season.
Well, just yesterday, Rochester outscored them 12-3 in the second half.
LeBlanc with it. Looking for some space, tries the swim move toward the goal. Bounce shot, Carlson the save, gobbles up the rebound. 10 seconds left. They fired deep downfield.
Ooh. Bro's pretty nonchalant with that one.
Now Jackson. He'll lose it behind the net, and time will run out on the quarter. Jackson a little slow in getting up as the teams will go to the locker room. Toronto leading Minnesota 7-4 at the half. We'll be back with second half action after these messages. You are watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV.
Welcome to NLL Halftime. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Walls of the Lacrosse Network. Join in the conversation on Twitter right now and let us know how your team is doing at the half. Let's get you caught up on last week's highlights and the standings as we head into Week 12 of the 2014 NLL season. The Edmonton Rush looking to become the first 9-0 team in NLL history as they host the Vancouver Stealth. The Stealth on the other end of the spectrum just trying to stay alive in the Western Division playoff race. Edmonton would get off to a hot start, leading 3-1 at the end of the first quarter, and Chris Corbeil's shorthanded goal early in the second would extend that lead. However, Vancouver would go in tied at the half 5-5. Included in that is the newly acquired Jamie Lincoln and his top 10 goal that made the TLN countdown. Vancouver would keep their streak alive moving into the third quarter as Reese Dutch gave Vancouver an 8-7 lead thanks to this amazing crease dive. However, Edmonton proved to be too much in the fourth as the hat trick by Robert Church gave Edmonton a lead they wouldn't relinquish, and the party continues at Rexall Place. The Rush win 10-9. Let's take a look at other action in Week 11 around the league. The Rochester Nighthawks continued their recent dominance over the Philadelphia Wings, winning in Blue Cross Arena by a final score of 13-8. In Colorado, the game goes to overtime over Calgary, and it's Sean Pollock who gets the game winner as the Mammoth win 10-9 over the Calgary Roughnecks. Finally, in Buffalo, the Buffalo Bandits hosted the Minnesota Swarm, and it was a late rally by Buffalo with Mark Steinhaus's 4 goals that propelled the Bandits to a 12-9 win. So what does all of this mean for the standings for your favorite team? Well, let's take a look first at the Eastern Division. The Buffalo Bandits with the win remain a half game ahead of the Rochester Nighthawks with a 7-2 record as they host the Calgary Roughnecks this Saturday night up at the First Niagara Center. Rochester holds close to second place with their 7-3 record, but they've got a tough doubleheader ahead of them, facing the Rock on Saturday and Philadelphia on Sunday, both on the road. Meanwhile, the Rock, who were off in Week 11, have a 4-6 record, but still holding on to a comfortable lead in third place. Again, they have a doubleheader this weekend, Saturday against Rochester, and then Sunday on the road against the Swarm. Meanwhile, on the outside looking in, it's Philadelphia and Minnesota, who both failed to capitalize on Toronto's off week. The Wings now sit with a 3-8 record, hosting a must-win game against the Rochester Nighthawks on Sunday, while the Swarm are all but out of it with a record of 2-8, heading to face the Rock on Sunday. It's another tight race in the NLL Western Division. The Edmonton Rush are comfortably in first place with that perfect 9-0 record, and Calgary sits in second place with that 6-4 record, 3.5 games back of the Rush. These two teams will collide on Friday night in another great Battle of Alberta. Third place battle has gotten a little bit clear as Colorado's overtime win has given them a 1.5 game advantage over the Vancouver Stealth. Colorado sits at 5-7, facing the Bandits in Buffalo on Saturday, while Vancouver sits in the cellar with a 3-8 record and takes Week 12 off. That does it for this episode of NLL Halftime. Thanks for watching. Hey, make sure to take to Twitter and let all the other NLL fans know how your team is doing at the half. We'll get you back to your game in just a moment. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network.
Walters around one. The shot, he scores!
7-7 the score. Long play from behind the net. Shot, score, Minnesota.
Merrill. He's got Hall breaking, hits him in straight in on goal. He shoots and scores. And Jordan Hall ties it up at 6.
Fielded, picked up by Buffalo. And Chad Cope is mauled on the way. Score! Buffalo! Dean Smith!
Quick Billick, Thompson across the line. Hesitates, back pass, scores! Mark Matthews rips one, 2 shots, 2 goals. Through a screen, can't get the shot, now he fakes it, goes around, nice dives and scores! What a goal by Jamie Lincoln, great individual effort, extended full out.
As Mark Stainhouse comes down into the Minnesota zone to the near side, getting some help from one of his teammates, but breaks free, has the ball, still hangs on, scores!
To the corner, great recovery by Thompson. Garrison coming in, shoots, scores! Garrison just stuck with it, and now he ties Corbeil for the league lead. There.
Jones is back out there. Gives to Pollock. Shot, he scored!
Sean Pollock is a sniper tonight. Now around the D, scores! Stephen Keogh, one-handed pickup and converts from the behind the back and
4-3. Evans, flip pass. Here's a shot. Dixon into the net, scores! Curtis Dixon again! It's 11-10 Calgary.
Want more great NLL action? Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network on your computer, tablet, or mobile device for access to all the games, live on YouTube. Get highlight reels, interactive player interviews, and behind-the-scenes coverage on all your favorite teams. YouTube.com/TLN. Subscribe today.
Support the National Lacrosse League and show the world you're a fan with team merchandise from the National Lacrosse League official online store, shop.nll.com. You'll find a great selection of National Lacrosse League team items, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, accessories, and more. You'll also find great customer service, 365-day hassle-free returns, and fast shipping. So show the world you support the National Lacrosse League with official gear from shop.nll.com. Support the National Lacrosse League and
And welcome back inside the Hive as we are set to face off the second half. Toronto leading Minnesota 7-4. Along with Chris Long, I'm Joe Moore. Tyler Carlson back in the nets here to begin the second half. Zach Higgins started for Minnesota, was pulled after giving up 3 goals on 6 shots in the first quarter. In relief, Carlson with 16 saves on the 20 shots that he faced.
Very similar to yesterday's game for Toronto. They led 9-5 at halftime, and Rochester ended up beating them 17-12 by outscoring them 12-3 in the second half. So if you're betting, take the Swarm and give the 4 goals.
Yeah. Over and back call.
Probably get a pretty good number on that right now if you were going to take the Swarm and give the 4 goals down 7-4.
Toronto has not won a road game this season. They've only led 1 road game at halftime.
And as you said, it was the old something has to give with the Swarm not winning a home game. And they need to get it going with 6 of the final 8 games of the season here at the Hive.
Jackson a long shot, rebounds all the way out to Monetize. Rolls right at the top of the crease line to make that save. Now Schuss sends it across. Quick pass, Gillum has to pull it back. On the weak side, Crawford coming in could handle the pass, and Toronto will have the possession.
Tough play for Gillum. He caught what looked like on his offhand and just didn't have the space to switch it over to get the shot off.
Garrett Billings getting things set up. He had 2 goals, 2 assists in the first half. Colin Doyle on the run, leaves it off for LeBlanc up top for Billings. Billings has Noble on his back. The ball bounces free and into the crease for Carlson, who outlets ahead for the captain, Suter.
First goal is going to be important here momentum-wise, Joe.
Suter will give it up quickly. It comes into the corner for big Brock Sorensen out of Ohio State. Crawford sends it across on the run. Shoveled into the slot area. Picked up Matisse down for Gillum. Gillum spins, shot clock running out, got to do something, and that goes wide. Shot clock violation on Minnesota.
That was good defense. Jones was trying to cut there and just could not get free of the Rock defender. Knew the shot clock was running down, tried to make that late cut.
Colin Doyle up top, sends it across. This is Hellier. Hellier, Billings loading, fires, and Carlson way out, makes a save. Behind the back, Billings got his own rebound and sent it just wide.
That would have been a tough goal to take for the Swarm.
Now Hellier for Billings. Tried to work the give and go out front. Little sub shot goes wide and ends up on the back of the Swarm net.
It's like boxers throwing jabs here. Just early jabs here in the round. Nobody really landing a big punch, though.
McIntosh gives it up. Schuss to the near side for Matisse. Kyle Matisse, it kind of corkscrewed out of the basket there, but McIntosh picks up the loose ball. Near side, Schuss. Across, quick shot. Rose got a piece of that to deflect it away, the loose ball. Dug free by Schuss. To the front, fired a quick shot again. The rebound, Schuss. Off of the Rose save. Minnesota will reset with Kyle Matisse, and now on the far side, Callum Crawford. Jackson a shot. Rose the save. Doesn't know where it is, but there to pick it up for Toronto was Scott Johnston.
Better to be lucky than good, and he was very lucky in that instance.
So, good,
Rose, that is.
Good 3-shot possession there for Minnesota, just unable to crack Nick Rosen. Nearly going as Billings winds up, fires, and scores. Hat trick for Billings.
And Billings threw off the entire timing, especially for Tyler Carlson. A great fake right there, just kind of throws everything off, and Carlson got back upright and couldn't get back to react for that second shot, which was perfectly placed by Billings.
His third of the game gives him 26 for the season. Chris, you said the first goal of the second half could be big for momentum. Not going the Swarm's way here today.
You'd like to see one of those Rock opponent runs initiate right now if you're a Swarm fan.
Rock comes away with the face-off. Ethan O'Connor able to dig the ball free. McIntosh challenges. But O'Connor finds Colin Doyle as the Toronto offense spills off the bench. Hellier winds up, fires, and sends it just wide, and that'll rebound into the netting out of play, giving Minnesota possession. Minnesota outshooting Toronto 30-29. They need to find their way past Nick Rose. On the run, Crawford. Schuss in the slot, double team, knocked away.
Rocker just so good at closing that center lane anytime a Swarm player tries to cut.
Was going to be an over and back. That's why Minnesota wasn't picking it up there. Toronto will set up the offense. Behrens gave it to Hellier, gets it back up top. Now Josh Sanderson into the corner for Colin Doyle. Doyle making the move. Tries a little submarine shot, and Carlson stayed with it. Tried to go 5-hole, did Doyle. Cam Flint on the run. Flint behind the net. Now Schuss on the near side. Fights his way through a screen. Jackson came off the pick, couldn't handle the pass.
Boy, Jackson had a lane if he could have taken it clean off that pick and roll.
Jones on the run, tried to bounce one by, but Rose makes the save. Schuss picks up the rebound, so Minnesota a fresh 30. Schuss up top. Now Monetize. Monetize getting a lot of offensive time here for Minnesota this afternoon. As is Jones. Schuss loads. Good shot, but Rose makes the save. We got a timeout on the field. We'll take it as well. It's Toronto 8, Minnesota 4. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV. Results in an 8-second violation. But then Haas unable to pull in that pass as he was at the top of the crease.
Been impressed by the Rock's defensive showing here for a team that's toward the bottom, if not at the bottom, of goals against per game in the NLL. They have played very well in closing down the Swarm's rushes. And even when they set up a set offense in front, it can't get anything going. The Rock are playing well above where they usually are defensively.
Little behind the back feed to Behrens, and Carlson denies the diving attempt from Casey Behrens. Great feed from Billings. No wonder he's leading the league in assists.
Well, and a nice save by Carlson there to stay there and wait and wait and wait and not commit too early and wait for that move to his left side and then adjust.
McIntosh now for Minnesota.
Oh.
On the weak side, the cutter was Crawford. Just couldn't finish it. McIntosh behind the net, picked up the loose ball, comes around, tries the one-hand dive. And Rose equal to the task yet again. Loose ball right out front. Minnesota unable to take advantage. Now they will up top. Another possession, fresh 30 for Minnesota. Logan Schuss behind the back. Oh, they scored! No, and they wave it off. They'll say in the crease was Scott Jones.
That would have been one of the more bizarre goals I've seen. I don't know that it contacted his stick. I think it just would have bounced right in off his torso, if I'm not mistaken here.
I believe you are correct.
I thought it was a quick stick at first. That would have been a really quick stick.
And no challenge coming from the Minnesota bench. It's still relatively early.
That pass was so good it fooled everybody, including the person it was intended for and connected with.
Little shovel of a shot from Billings as the clock was expiring. Carlson to save. Minnesota 3-on-2 if they want it. Earl drops it back. Just took too long for that to come together. Gilbert peels back.
That's a pretty good line change. The Rock were almost caught there in that change, but the guys coming in, subbing in, really hustled to get back in there and stop the Storm's flow.
Shane Jackson loading, ducks under, tries the corkscrew shot, moving screen violation on Minnesota, gives the ball to Toronto. And Matisse is going to get called for a delay of game as he was running by, not allowing Toronto possession of the ball.
And of all the extracurricular we've had so far in this game, you're going to whistle that? I'm not a ref jumper on her, but that was a little ticky-tack considering the way this game's been flowing.
That's exactly how Callum Crawford feels. He's giving him an earful on the field.
Yeah, you can see his body language. They did it over there. We did it over there. Yeah.
So Toronto back on the power play. They capitalized on both their opportunities back in the first quarter. A perfect 2 for 2 today. Up top, shot. Hellier snuck it through Carlson, but Gilbert cleans it up, and now a shorthanded chance for Haas. Haas loads up. Thought about ducking under, now going to pull back and run some time off the clock.
Yeah, that advantage closed out pretty quickly. Good move to bring it back out, especially as good as the Rock have been on the power play today, 2 for 2. Kill a little bit of time here, minimize the damage.
Minnesota just holding. Now right out front, just couldn't hold on to that one. And Damon Edwards over the timeline for Toronto. Still 1:05 left on the power play for the Rock as Billings sends it across. Up top is Josh Sanderson. Billings down lower, Barons rather. Sent it just wide, and the loose ball rolls out for Brock Sorensen.
Storm caught a little break there. Barons had a pretty good little window there to the right side of Tyler Carlson. He shot wide left.
Now Suter, all alone offensively, tries the swim move, tries to spin.
Oh, great job keeping possession.
You can tell he wants a highlight reel goal here. Suter working from the double team. Runs clock. Good penalty kill here for Minnesota, really slowing things down, holding the ball offensively. Finally, the corkscrew shot from Crawford, and Rose another save.
50 more seconds here in the extra man opportunity, and just close this out. You've done a nice job the whole time. Do not blink here.
Billings sends it across. Trying the dunk shot was Doyle. That was denied. Now Hellier loads up. Minnesota back at full strength as Matisse sprints into the defensive set. And that pass knocked free and finally picked up by Haas.
That was a good play to disrupt the play. Turn it the other way. Nice play.
Tyler Haas on the run. Gets to the front, drops the ball. And Billings able to pick it up. Billings out there defensively. You won't see that a whole lot from Toronto. Stephen LeBlanc. Don't want to jinx it, but he's been held in check here today by Minnesota.
And that's a feat.
Minnesota, Gilbert, a nice job defensively to knock the ball away from Billings. Here's Greg Downing on the run. Downing. Now Crawford off the back wall, comes right out front. Oh, he hits the crossbar.
Crawford just can't buy one today. I think that was crossbar back of goalie post clear. Oh, he's gone through the crease twice, hit a pipe on the other side of the field. Oh my goodness, can't buy one.
Toronto 8, Minnesota 4 will go to break. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV. Saves on 37 shots in this one. Came in of the starting goaltenders, Chris, the highest goals against average coming into the game, but only 4 goals in almost 3 full quarters.
Well, and Joe, the pace of this game's been pretty good. The goalie's maintaining pretty well. These are two, I think Toronto's number 1 in shots per game. The Swarm number 2. They both average, 53 for Toronto, 50 for the Swarm, but these goalies have done what they need to do to keep the score low because the pace has not been as slow as the 8-4 score indicates.
Pass ahead, Suter couldn't haul it in. Rose does. Shots 11-7 in the third quarter in favor of Minnesota, but the only goal belongs to Garrett Billings of Toronto. LeBlanc on the move. LeBlanc does have 3 assists, but no goals. Loose ball picked up. Downing sends it ahead for Earl. Earl, the Notre Dame product, spins, has it knocked out of his basket. O'Connor picks up the loose ball and finds Johnstone. He'll try to run it ahead. He'll get it across the timeline.
Opportunistic D by O'Connor. Earl held that ball out there a little too long, and he cut his cross right out from out of his hands.
Now on the run, peeling back, Rob Marshall. Long shot. Ooh. Wild from Billings, goes wide.
Caught the official in the glutes there, I think. And then bounced right over to Carlson. That worked out all right.
Shane Jackson skips it to the far side for Crawford. Crawford into the middle. And a moving pick on Minnesota will give it to Toronto. Ostrauser hustled into the offensive zone. Now sends it along. LeBlanc tried the spin move. Finds Behrens, who couldn't hang on to it. Downing lost his stick. Still trying to work over Behrens defensively. Out front, LeBlanc a shot. Good save there from Carlson. A big save from Carlson.
And not a lot of time to react. That was a hard shot from very close in. Nice play by Tyler Carlson.
Sorensen brings it up, still has it, sends it across for Jones. Jones across the slot, overhand shot, and Rose well out at the top of the crease makes yet another save. Under a minute to play in the quarter.
And you can see the Rock really are disrupting the Swarm flow on offense. They can't get any space inside.
Monetize tries the corkscrew shot, sent it wide. Schuss tries to bounce one home, just missed. Dunk shot! It's good! Monetize from behind the net. Toronto pleading their case. They don't believe that one. They went in, and I think we'll see the review flag.
I try to pride myself on being a keen analyst here, but I have absolutely no idea what happened. I thought initially that the dunk was successful, and all of a sudden the ball popped up. Now, the goal may have tipped a little forward after the dunk, and the ball leaked out underneath the V once it was already in the net. But I can't tell you that for sure. We'll have to take a look at the replay just like the officials here. They're talking right now. What'd you see? I have no idea. Let's look.
And it will go under an official review as the challenge flag gets thrown. You get 20 seconds to throw the challenge flag. Toronto used about 18 or 19 of it before they threw it out there.
I wonder if it didn't sneak under after. Not in the crease.
Here's Monetize not in the crease, trying to dunk it over that crossbar. Again, the call on the field is a goal.
Yeah, this is the angle we need, I think. I don't know where the ball went after it comes out of the stick. Clearly no crease violation.
With Rose trying to move back in position, Monetize reaches out there. Will we see the ball over the goal? That's in.
That's a goal.
That is across the line and underneath the crossbar, and then actually coming from the backside, it was knocked out of the goal by O'Connor as he was coming from back of the net.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure that didn't roll down the top of the net? I can't tell if that ball's under the crossbar here or not.
I think that is under the crossbar.
All right, let's see it one more time here.
There's the dunk attempt.
I don't think that went over the crossbar. I don't think Monetize's stick got far enough forward to put that on the front side of the crossbar. I think it rolled down the back of the net. But I don't know if they can overturn that. See, I don't think the net ever came up enough to let the ball roll out under it.
You may be right.
I don't want to be right.
You may be right, Chris Long.
What a strange play. But I don't know.
And Todd LeBranch really taking a long look at this one. What an effort. I mean, goal or no goal, Monetize goes airborne a la Superman on that dunk attempt.
And credit Rose for getting his forearm up there. That's not a typical save you'd have to make as a goalie, but to get that forearm up there, I don't know if they can overturn that. It's just so hard to tell. If you're asking me, I don't think Monetize got his stick forward enough. Rose contacts it right here. Well, right here. I don't know where the ball could go under the crossbar right there. And I think it's rolling down the back of the net right now.
And then off
and then
of
it
O'Connor.
squeaks out through O'Connor's legs. Oh, it's a tough one to wave off, but if you're asking me, I think it's no goal.
And here comes Todd LeBranch with the answer. No goal.
A rare instance where I hate being right, Joe.
So it will remain 8-4 in favor of Toronto. It will be Toronto ball with 46.1 left in the third quarter.
Well, and unless we get a drastic change in the fourth quarter, that's kind of going to be a microcosm of this game as a whole for the Swarm. Once again, it's 8-4. It's late in the third. You think you have a goal to cut it to 8-5. You get some momentum. Nope, it's waved off. Third or fourth instance in this game where a seemingly forward momentum action was negated quickly. That would have been on the Swarm's benefit.
A very fired up Joe Sullivan on the Minnesota bench, giving LeBranch what for. Shot comes in. Carlson closes up the 5-hole on it and hands it off to Sorensen.
Well, I'm sure that the players came back and said, no, Sully, it's definitely a goal, but I think it was the right call.
Minnesota with about a second differential on the shot clock. Toronto challenging up high. Now Gillum will pull it back. Schuss. Across for Crawford. Tried to find Gillum in the slot, failed to connect. Loose ball. Bounces back to the corner, and that will do it for quarter number 3. At the end of 3, it is Toronto 8, Minnesota 4. We'll be back with quarter number 4 after these messages as you watch Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV. The opening faceoff of quarter number 4. LeBlanc to the near side. Sanderson sends it across. On the move, Billings. LeBlanc out front. Oh, Carlson, nice save there through a screen.
Boy, and that was all instinct. There's no way he saw that shot come in. That was just reacting to where he expected the ball was going to be.
Now McIntosh. He has not found an offensive groove. Well, quite frankly, nobody on Minnesota has today, but
nor Toronto to it, in the grand scheme of things.
McIntosh had 5 goals against Toronto in the 14-12 Toronto win earlier this year. McIntosh with the loose ball, running out of time on the shot clock, just threw it into the slot, hoping for something. Across the timeline, Hostrauser rolls it back for Johnstone. Hellier gives it up. Barron's on the run, or Billings rather. Noble pushes him into the corner. Swim move, Billings trying to get some space behind the back pass. Doyle, but Carlson steps out to take off the angle.
Nice job by Noble. That could have been bad. There were a lot of cuts that could have happened there, but he limited the vision and limited the movement.
Cam Flint on the run, still in possession. Finally sends it up top. Kyle Matisse into the corner for Crawford.
He's due.
Gives it to Matisse coming down the slot, but Rose makes the save on that. Matisse will pick up the loose ball. Interference on Toronto does give it to Minnesota. More officially, Matisse trying to dunk again, came around the side, and Rose had his back to the post that time.
Well, Earl coming out with a head of steam here.
Stefan LeBlanc on the run, sends it across. Oh, a quick stick. LeBlanc sent it over the top off the feed from Billings. Now Josh Sanderson tried to use a LeBlanc screen. Runs past McIntosh. Sanderson to the goal and sent it off wide, and a shot clock violation gives it to Minnesota.
Couple good looks there for the Rock. The Swarm had to dodge a bullet there. Couple really good looks that they couldn't cash in on.
Greg Downing got it to Crawford. Downing stays on there. Quick stick, Matisse, and again Rose makes the save. Downing trying to dig that loose ball out of there. Winds up getting dumped. Back the other way. Greer bounces it along. LeBlanc challenged out high by Krepensek. Cutter on the weak side, trying to get in was Behrens. Finds Billings.
Great recovery by Gilbert.
Billings taken down by Gilbert. Ball is loose. Gilbert, the first one to it, couldn't come up with it. Behrens on his back. Shot clock violation on Toronto will give the ball to Minnesota.
Great job by Gilbert. Recovered when he was beaten, got the loose ball. That was a terrific defensive stand by Jeff Gilbert.
And now Gilbert will take a much-needed rest as he gives the ball up. This is Callum Crawford trying to drive to the front. Frees up some space, goes right to the goal and scores! Kirk screws it in!
I told you he was due.
Callum Crawford gets Minnesota within 3 with his first of the game. The Swarm shut out in the first, shut out in the third.
They own the evens.
Finally found the goal that has an opening in it.
Good patience by Crawford. You basically have Rose standing there tap dancing, waiting to see what you can do, and just needs a little opening, and Rose gave it to him, and Crawford, long overdue, finally cashes in. Maybe the floodgates open for him.
Clean face-off win for McIntosh. Again, Crawford on the run. Sends it out for McIntosh. McIntosh, little give and go. It failed to connect with Monetize. Now Gamble right down the slot. Fires. Carlson makes the save, turns around, and keeps that one from rolling in. Oh, he got the big basket on that just in time.
And again, how about the sixth sense? Just the goaltender's intuition to know that ball rolled through or off of me and maybe rolling toward the goal line. I better turn around and jump on it. Now, it looks like the way he wrenched around, he might have tweaked something.
Yeah, he is slow in getting up, and
he did kind of turn at a kind of an awkward angle.
Keith Gagne was very quick to have the trainer come out. Boy, this would be unfortunate. Carlson has played very strong in relief here.
Yeah, he just, you know what he did? I think he read the body language of Bill Greer standing in front of him. And Greer's eyes moved to the goal line, and Carlson kind of did the, what's he looking at? And turned around and saw the ball rolling toward the goal line. Goalies, we're all crazy. As a former one, I can say that.
I was going to say, I know of at least one that is. So on the move, Crawford sends it now up top is Schuss. Trying to pick up a screen, tried to give it off. Crawford on the run. Crawford gets cut off, sends it across. Oh, great gather that time and a quick shot from Gillum, but Rose another save.
The game's in the balance right here. A couple goals either way could really change this thing and really dent the Swarm confidence as they head down the stretch, or build them up with some positive energy.
Great defense. Oh, and Gilbert rings one off the post after the over and back. Great defense for Minnesota. Set up the opportunity for Gilbert.
I jinxed him. I was trying to finish my sentence before the possession changed.
Minnesota does get the ball back, however. This is Scott Jones. Across. Monetize down for Jones. Up top for Schuss. For Jones. Jones on the run. Gets to the front and sends it off of Rose, but the loose ball picked up by Monetize. Jones is still in the crease.
I would like to see a little more patience there. Monetize was pretty quick to get that in there while Jones was still laying in the crease. Even if they'd had something, it would have been waved off. He was in the crease. No sense throwing it in there. It was intercepted right on the doorstep.
Toronto the other way. Behrens up top for LeBlanc. LeBlanc gets a pick. McIntosh fought through it nicely. Doyle ended up on the ground, then skipping one wide as Hellier. Shot clock violation on Toronto will send us to break. Rock lead the Swarm 8-5. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV. Are piling up in favor of Minnesota. 7 already in this quarter. They're out shooting Toronto 47-38, but timely defense. Some good goaltending today from Nick Rose has Toronto with the 3-goal advantage.
And those 2 pipes in the crossbar. Ever present.
Crawford tried to free up some space instead. Schuss tried to send a shot on as he crossed the slot area.
Great play.
No. Oh, Crawford just missed with Gilliam, but Jackson picks up the loose ball. For Crawford, Wines fires. Rose makes the save, and the rebound picked up by Jesse Gamble. Gamble will get it into the offensive zone. Gives it up for LeBlanc. LeBlanc on the run, chased by Haas.
The Rock are going to slow this down. That's a 3-goal game. Well, maybe not. Still too early. Yeah, they're going to attack here. Still a couple minutes away from starting to take the air out of the ball.
Doyle tried to send it across, but good defense by Sorensen had Barons well covered. Now Haas the other way for Minnesota. In transition, Haas loads, fires, he scores! Tyler Haas bounces one past Nick Rose. It's 8-6.
That's just a field goal. He looks up and feels this is going to work. If I put this right here, fired it absolutely precise where he was aiming, sends it through, and all of a sudden, it's a 2-goal game. 49 shots for the Storm, just 6 goals. Keep shooting. Keep shooting. That's a perfect example right there. Just a laser.
Plenty of time. O'Connor called for the violation, so Minnesota in possession.
Well, and we've been waiting for that run that the Rock like to give up. Maybe it's here.
On the move, Crawford taken down, still in possession, puts it into the slot. Gillum picks it up. Gillum toward the goal, tries a one-handed dunk shot, but stepped on the line of the crease. Violation gives the ball to Toronto. Ethan O'Connor on the run. Just finding some open space to get this offense set up. Now O'Connor will peel off. Billings with Noble on his back. Gives it up for LeBlanc. LeBlanc toward the goal, cut off by Krepensek. Up top, quick shot, Billings. Picks up his own rebound, gets it again, and runs it into the corner, bounces it up top. Fresh 30 for Toronto. They'll back things out. Josh Sanderson on the near side. Up top for Doyle. Along for Billings. Doyle loads, pushed back by Noble. Hellier gives it up for Billings on the far side. Doyle up top. Over the top shot. Carlson another save, but Hellier a loose ball and a fresh 30 again for Toronto.
That's just 2 fortunate bounces off Carlson's saves that got out there into no man's land, and the Rock pounced on it.
Sanderson up top. Garrett Billings loads. There's another save from Carlson, this time able to control the rebound and give Minnesota possession.
That's what you wanted, the break you needed. If that one had bounced out free, you would have had a 2-minute-long possession for the Rock.
Gilbert had a lane momentarily, got cut off defensively by Chris White. Now up top, Matisse to the near side for Jones. 10 on the shot clock, Jones. Far side, Crawford a shot, Rose the save, big rebound, and Jones will gather it in for Minnesota. A little payback.
Kick save on that one for Rose, it appeared.
Gillum for Jones. Jones going to take it. Jones right up front, he scores! Scott Jones has the Swarm within 1. It's 8-7.
Patience pays off. They never look desperate. They never panic. They're working the game. Couple shots from the outside. Nice attack there for Jones. Skips in. It's a 1-goal game. 3 straight for the Swarm.
4th of the year for Scott Jones.
And well-timed.
And once again, we see Nick Rose with
that's his move.
Some questionable equipment failure.
Although, to be fair, on the other end, Tyler Carlson's having a shoe tied. So he made use of the stall as well.
Fans, if you're looking for one-of-a-kind auction items, check out auctions.mnswarm.com today to bid on exclusive team-issued items, experiences, and more. Again, that's auctions.mnswarm.com. Face-off pulled out, and Minnesota has possession. Greg Downing able to gather in the loose ball. Finds David Earl, who gives off to Shane Jackson off the bench. Crawford to the near side for McIntosh. They kind of clear out for McIntosh. Right on the doorstep, Matisse shoots, he scores! And we are tied inside the Hive. It's 8-8.
Well, I think it officially becomes a run at 4 goals. Is that fair to say here? It is the run we're waiting for. Toronto, for whatever reason, just so susceptible to these. And yes, lacrosse is a game of runs. It's 4 goals in very quick succession. It's kind of a reverse of the first quarter. Toronto scored 5 in a row now. The Swarm, 4 in a row here at the start of the fourth. Tie the game at 8, 5:30 to go.
Another big face-off here. Face-off violation gives the ball again to Minnesota. Minnesota has won about 65% of the face-offs here today. Opportunity for the first time to take a lead. Jones with it. Up top. Schuss, although threw it out front. And Rose comes out to scoop up the loose ball.
4 goals for the Swarm through 3 quarters, and they've scored 4 goals in the last 6 minutes. It can turn quickly.
And not to be completely cliche, but the Hive is buzzing right now.
It is. It is.
The cutter, LeBlanc got the shot off, but Carlson moving to the left makes the nice save, and a quick outlet ahead for Haas. He's already got one in the quarter. Tyler Haas loads over the top. Rose steered it aside, but Suter has the rebound.
I don't know that the Swarm have done anything differently in this 4-goal run. It's just that the goals are finding, or the balls are finding Twine as opposed to posts or shoulders of Nick Rose.
Crawford goes to the cage out, and he hits the post again.
Oh, that's a great move. Great aerial dodge, and he went low for the shot and just missed.
That will take us to break. The score is all tied up. Brand new game. Final 4:15 coming up. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on 45 TV.
I'm not bad luck.
Pressure defense. Jason Noble way up, challenges, but LeBlanc able to run it into the offensive zone. Doyle sends it into the corner. LeBlanc near side looking for a pick, spins, spun into a double team. Plays it back with a nice catch there from Hellier. Hellier rips one wide, and the rebound picked up by Gilbert off the back wall. Ahead for Haas. Goes cross. Sorensen, who thought about it, now pulls it back.
His eyes got real big when he saw that opportunity.
Crawford. Across for Monetize. Down low, Schuss. Up top for Crawford. Crawford off the pick. Over for Schuss. His shot knocked down. Chris White, good defense. Shot clock violation on Minnesota. Fans, this copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League. LeBlanc on the run, gives it up for Doyle. On the far side, nice little give and go right down the slot. Carlson, a huge save there for Minnesota. Takes one away from Behrens.
That was a terrific pass to have a clean break.
Now Suter drops it back. Krepensek, as all the defenders threatened offensively momentarily. Now the more offensive players will come on.
Take a look. If you don't have a look, take a seat.
McIntosh with it. Fires Rose the save. Big rebound. Crawford had it momentarily, then lost it in the crease where Rose picks it up. In the corner.
Swarm D needs to just keep doing what they've been doing this whole quarter. Don't get tight just because there's only 2 minutes left.
Billings looking for an opening. Pushed back by Noble. They go across. That shot, I think, hits Sorensen. Never made it through. Hellier tracks down the loose ball. Shot clock running out. And Doyle just has to give it up.
It's a good hold for the Swarm.
Under 2 minutes to play in an 8-8 tie. Haas frees up some space. Loads, fires, and Rose the save. The rebound to the near wall.
Rose came way off his line to make that save and cut off that angle.
Boy, it's attracting a crowd. Bodies are taking a tumble. 3 from each side finally pulled loose. Monetize playing soccer, gets it back. O'Connor's the one that ends up with it for Toronto. Weaving his way into the offensive zone to beat to the 8-second violation. O'Connor tried to get that one down low to Gamble, who's out there offensively. Intercepted beautifully by Brock Sorensen. Tried to work the pick and roll, and Sorensen just put his stick in the passing lane.
Well, he didn't overplay it. He didn't need to attack the man there. He just waited, sat back, put his stick up into the passing lane, and picked it off. It's a smart play.
Final minute of play, Minnesota in possession. Schuss a shot, Rose the save, scoops up the rebound. Greer into the offensive zone, leaves it for LeBlanc. And we get a timeout on the field. Toronto going to talk things over. They have 16 on the shot clock, 30.5 left on the game clock. Wow, this one is turning into a great one.
And at 5-0 through one, you go, oh, hang on. They did hang on. 8-3 since that point. The Swarm know they're at least going to get the ball back here with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Question is, will they have a chance to win or will they need to tie it at that point? But with so much at stake here, a chance to really equalize in terms of loss column with the Rock, who sit at 4-7. The Swarm are at 2-8. And again, 2-8. You look at it, it doesn't look that great, but you're only a game and a half off of Toronto, who hold down that last playoff spot. So every goal only counts one, but some goals are bigger than others. And if the Swarm can get one here, it is massive in terms of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a two-game differential, depending on how this one turns out. Toronto or Philadelphia also with 8 losses on the season, so you would like to stay even in the loss column. And boy, oh boy. They need a defensive stand here and then to capitalize one final time offensively. Send this crowd of 6,628 home happy.
And they turn it over.
LeBlanc couldn't come up with it. We get a whistle, and Minnesota will call timeout. The shot clock will be turned off when Minnesota gains possession of the ball.
Well, that's about the best thing you could hope for. Not only did Toronto turn it over, they did it quickly. You recover possession as the Swarm, and now you get 23 seconds to set something up and play for the last shot.
Fans, if you like what you're seeing here on 45 TV, and how can you not, this is a good one here at the Hive. The best way to experience the Swarm is as a season ticket holder. And right now, when you buy 2 Swarm season tickets, you get 2 more at 25% off. That works out to as little as $17 per game. It's not too late to join the Hive. Visit us online at mnswarm.com for more information.
We've been pretty lucky here on 45. We had 2 great high school hockey tournaments, 2 great high school basketball tournaments, and this game's falling right in line with what we saw in all those. The boys basketball tournament, I can tell you, was unbelievable as it went down.
Well, there were a lot of clutch shots
buzzer
to
beaters,
end games.
one from 57 feet. Yeah. Let's get one here. Let's get a buzzer beater here. Keep the buzzer beater streak alive on 45 TV.
Well, the only Swarm player with more than 1 goal today is Kyle Matisse. He's notched 2. Otherwise, Gilbert, Haas, Schuss, Suter, Gillum, Jones, and Crawford, all with goals for Minnesota. Take that back. Gillum doesn't have one. Maybe he's due, Chris.
I'm okay with that. A Gillum call.
It will all begin with Callum Crawford. Clock down to 10 seconds. The Minnesota goal empty. It's 6-on-5 in the offensive zone. Crawford puts it through the slot. Gillum picks it up. His shot saved by Rose. And time will run out. We are headed to overtime inside the Hive.
You almost nailed it. You almost nailed it. The ball was in Gillum's stick with 3 seconds left. Oh, overtime. It can be fun. It can be awful.
And it is a sudden death overtime that will be played, so first goal wins. Of course, the Swarm just a couple seasons ago against Edmonton, Chris, played the second longest NLL game in history. Actually, the Swarm, this is the 10th season of Minnesota Swarm lacrosse. They have played 2 of the 4 longest NLL games in history.
The game was here?
It was.
Remember correctly?
Against Edmonton,
Yep.
Unfortunately, the game-winning goal came from Ryan Benesh. He's no longer on the team. Time for a new hero to step up, fill those shoes.
Well, the nature of lacrosse is so tough and over. I mean, the face-off obviously is massive. And then it's kind of what I said about the Swarm there late in the fourth quarter. You don't want to change what you've done, but just the same, one little mistake is magnified that it can cost you the game. Now, again, that's me, goalie mentality on the negative side. Offensively, you would say, attack, attack, attack. Let them make the mistake and cost them the game. I don't know if I can handle a record-challenging overtime session either.
So the teams will switch sides, defending in front of their player benches here in the overtime period. And you're right, the face-off becomes important. Minnesota has done a very good job with that in this one, over 60%. Face-off wins for Jordan McIntosh here today. He's taken them all for Minnesota. He's kind of gone a 50-50 against Patrick Merrill and Ethan O'Connor. It'll be Ethan O'Connor that will attempt this face-off to begin the overtime for Toronto.
And that's smart because McIntosh has owned Merrill. Taken 7 of the 9 he faced off against Merrill, and he's taken 6 of the 11 from O'Connor.
A lot of pressure, I'm sure you have felt it, being the old goaltender.
Oh, overtime. That's why I can't stand overtime. It's the worst. If I'm involved in overtime as a goalie, that's not good. I'd rather just run down the field and high-five people.
Tyler Carlson has only given up 5 goals on the 37 shots he has faced. Loose ball off the face-off, and it's Gillum that pulls it out of there for Minnesota. They'll have first crack at it. Skipped along for the assistant captain, Callum Crawford. Spins past one. Little give and go, and unable to gather it in was McIntosh, and Toronto has it.
That was a good cut, but you'd like to at least get a shot there in your first possession in overtime.
Toronto held scoreless in the fourth, just 1 goal in the second half for the Rock. This is Billings. Knocked out of his basket, loose ball along the near side. Brock Sorensen has it for Minnesota. So neither team gets a shot in their first possession.
Good composure by Sorensen, too, because that ball got away and he didn't panic. He just went down and got it, kept his focus, and stayed on it. If you get into freak-out mode there, you might fail to pick up the loose ball and create an opportunity back the other way.
Jackson and Schuss, the lefties on the floor for Minnesota. On the run is Monetize. Bounces into Gamble. Monetize gives it up. Schuss, a shot. Rose scoops it up on a nice save.
That's a pretty good look from point-blank range.
This is Hellier. Up top for Sanderson. Sanderson, the cutter, right out front. They score. Toronto has won it in overtime, 9-8.
Well, that's just a fantastic goal. I mean, it was a great pass and a great one-deke finish. Not much the Swarm could do there. It was just a terrific cut through, and the pass got in.
So a disappointing loss sends Minnesota tumbling to 2-9. Now 2.5 games out of that final playoff spot, as the Toronto Rock improve to 5-7 on the season. Rock win it 9-8. For Chris Long, I'm Joe Moore. Good afternoon, everybody. And for those of you that watch the game on the Lacrosse Network, welcome back inside the Hive, where the Toronto Rock have defeated the Minnesota Swarm 9-8 in overtime this afternoon. Chris, the battle of runs got us to overtime, and Toronto capitalizes.
Colin Doyle, I said it a couple times, he now can up that number. He now has a 9th game-winning goal of the season. I believe that now ties him for the NLL lead. He had 8. He was 3rd. So if he doesn't lead, he's at least within 1. But that's a...
Well, Colin Doyle is our first star of the game. The game winner completes the hat trick on the day for Colin Doyle. I believe he had a hat trick in the first game against Minnesota as well. So the old pro, the 11-time All-Pro selection, either first or second team, provides Toronto the game winner here today. He is the game's first star. Toronto goaltender Nick Rose, 50 saves today. Star number 2, Tyler Carlson, Minnesota goaltender, came in relief. Really kind of held Minnesota close, allowed them to come back into this one.
Yeah, you know, you look at what he did, came in right after amid a very rough start, and it took him a little while to get his feet under him, but once he did, if you take away those 3 early goals, every goal counts when you go to an overtime situation, but both goaltenders fantastic. I mean, 102 shots in the game and only 17 goals. You know, you'd think with 102 shots, you'd probably see a score up near 14-15 as opposed to 9-8.
Correct. So Toronto, even more importantly, Chris, wins the season series now for Minnesota. They have taken the first 2. They will only play one more time in the season finale back here in the Hive on April the 26th. The big win for Toronto. The gap now 2.5 games over Minnesota, 2 over Philadelphia. And it's so important to have that playoff tiebreaker over the Swarm.
Yeah, and even if you win that season finale now, if the Swarm were to go on some sort of run and have that matter, it's one of those double wins where it counts for you if you're Toronto and even more against you if you're the Swarm. So a tough task becomes even tougher for the Swarm as they try to rally and get themselves back into the playoffs.
The 6,628 Swarm fans are going to go home disappointed, ending their weekend, but the Swarm get it done when it counts in the overtime. They win it here this afternoon, 9-8. Glad to have you along with us. It'll be a fun postgame at Joe Badali's back in Toronto, I'm guessing, as they will celebrate a Rock victory, their first of the year on the road. The Swarm now 0-4 at home. We'll be back inside the Swarm with you next Sunday afternoon. The Buffalo Bandits pay a visit to the Hive, a homecoming for Ryan Benesh. That'll do it from inside the Hive. For Chris Long, I'm Joe Moore. We'll see you next week inside the Hive.